My first paranormal experience would have to be when I used to live in Gavino's dwelling by Prince Edward's Road. Children, they sometimes tend to exaggerate things, and they tend to be, on the other hand, quite receptive to certain things as well. I'm not sure which one I was, but that house has left quite an impression on me for various reasons. Namely, I've been pulled out of bed, I've been thrown down a set of small stairs that we used to have, and at one point my parents decided it was a fantastic idea to surprise me with a ghost Halloween toy and hang it off the ceiling in my living room, in my bedroom when it was dark. And it sort of was motion activated, so it moved and scared me to death. But they didn't know what was going on with me in that house. And I have a feeling that something might have been attached to me while I was quite young. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe it was to do with that house.
Is there somebody else here?
The following program has been filmed for your entertainment. Viewers may find some scenes disturbing. Last year we brought Samantha Donbavand along to Gibraltar for the very first time. She'd never been here before. She didn't do any research as to any of the sites that we were looking up. This year it's a little bit different. She knows a lot about Gibraltar now. She's been here, she's become practically a local, someone who comes here very often. We have to focus the program on a different footing, at a different level. We brought Lee Dignam and Brian Holloway on board.
Well, I've always been interested in the paranormal from being a very small boy. Actually, the very first memory I have is being dragged out of a house by my father with my brother in tow because he saw someone walk through a wall, and I was very young, and that just always stayed with me, and I've just carried it on from there. Well, Gibraltar has such an amazing history, and it's all condensed into such a small space, and in the UK you just don't have that. It's totally different. So again, having all of that history in such a small area and doing what we do, I'm hoping we get some fantastic results.
Two paranormal investigators who want to find answers to questions in a very different way, using technology, using science.
It's very important to have an actual laser thermometer, because when in an investigation you get, obviously, people report cold spots, and if you're using a normal standard thermometer, obviously your presence near that thermometer can alter the environment itself, so you get false readings. With a laser thermometer you can actually take a reading across an entire room, a very accurate reading, and you can pinpoint it. So if anyone's feeling a cold spot actually on the body, any part of the body, you can just use this.
Are we actually really communicating with Sir James Somerville? Or were we communicating with somebody else?
Also on the team this time round we have Tito Vallejo, who is a well-known historian in Gibraltar, and of course Kieran Bosso, who is one of the founder members of the Gibraltar Paranormal Society. So if anyone knows about the sites that we're investigating from a paranormal perspective, it's him. So we have a very well-rounded team, and we're hoping to find just a different way of producing a program which answers some of the viewers' questions about the paranormal.
Well, the Mount, everybody knows that the Admiral always used to live there, but before the Admiral took it up, he used to live in another very, very sinister place in Irish Town, which we'll talk about on another occasion. And it was bought from a private owner, and it originally was called Mount Pleasant. The name has been given now to another area further down. But talking about situations around there, I must go a bit further in time to the Second World War. The area around the Mount, or rather the Mount, narrowly escaped a direct hit by bombs. Remember, Gibraltar was bombed many times by the French and the Italians. The area around suffered heavily from bombings. To start with, the area behind to the sort of north of the Mount.
Well, the Mount itself, as Tito explained, has a relative amount of history to it. When it comes to paranormal activities and sightings and things like that, what a lot of people have reported, sort of like a sensing of a very imposing figure by people who've been up there, and one of the things they've heard steps and also heard voices, and they report that there could have been a possibility of some shouting from, like it came from a distance, but obviously having residential areas close to it and vehicles passing by, etc. Obviously those voices can't really be explained. They could possibly be from passers-by. But the most curious one was that they were preparing a function there. And whilst they were preparing that function, they were in the kitchen sort of preparing the food and everything, and one of the taps, the water taps, actually turned on by itself. And nobody was close to the area. There were no animals that you could say a cat jumped in and touched the tap or anything. So that is one of the most really inexplicable ones that we have, the actual tap itself turning on.
Una experiencia aquí en la escalera hace unos 5 o 6 años, pero sentía como alguien detrás subiendo la escalera conmigo. Miré 2 veces y no le puse mucha importancia. Bajé para abajo, cogí el corredor de aquí y venía como detrás, pero no veía, sentía, pero no lo veía.
The Mount these days is used as a place for functions, weddings. Even recently it was used as a children's nursery, but this place has been the seat of military power for hundreds of years. Admirals lived here. Perhaps important decisions were made here which turned the tide of wars. Now some say that the pain and anguish of having made these decisions still rests in the fabric of the building itself.
Getting that tune again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got into that tune now.
Struggling with this. Spirit's struggling with this. That's what I'm
Something new has arrived, connecting Gibraltar to the rest of the world at the speed of light. Super Swift fibre broadband is here from only £28 per month. Order yours online at www.fibrebroadband.gi. Super Swift fibre broadband from Gibraltar.